Hello and welcome to You So Got This with Laura Klekar. I am so excited you're here with me today. I know you're like every time you have guests, you're like, they're the best guests ever. I've got two guests in with me today, and they are just the most wonderful, beautiful, amazing women, and what they are doing and how they're serving community is something that I can't even express how much I love, how exciting it is, and I cannot wait for you to hear from them. You're just going to be like, wow, when you hear what they're doing and their message and how they're serving their community. I had such an honor to work with their nonprofit program a few weeks ago, and I was smiling the whole time, and I left, and I was like, oh my God, I had so much fun. I was a little overwhelmed, but I had so much fun, and you're going to understand why when you talk to them. I'm just so grateful every day that people such as my guests exist and that they're a part of my life and that we have them around us, because they literally make this world a better place with what they're doing every day. So I can't wait for you to meet them. Yay! But first, of course, we have the oomph tip of the week. And my oomph tip of the week is a story. I went to this event last week, and there was a news anchor there, and she was talking about how she got into the business. And it was a really interesting story because she wanted to get in the industry. She saw an opening, and she's like, I don't have any experience doing this. So she sort of went out, and it's going to be funny if she ever hears this and be like, what? That's me. But she went out and sort of made this, I guess for lack of a better term, fake reel to sort of as her audition, and sent it in, and she got the job. And the reason this is an oomph tip for the week is so many times we get caught up in this idea that we have to have XYZ or ABC to do something. Oh, I can't do that because I don't have this, and I can't do that because I don't have this. You can do it, and you have the oomph to do it. And people out there every day. I met another woman who went up to a super famous Dallas Cowboys event and was like, I'm his publicist, and she wasn't. But you know what? She got an amazing job by standing up and taking a chance and saying, I know I can do this. And the reason why these people are so successful, even though they're going into jobs and industries where they may not have the experience or the education, is because they believe they can do it. And if you believe that you can do it, you will find a way. The women that you're going to hear from today in my studio, on my show today, believe they can do it. And they're using that belief to enrich so many people's lives. So my oomph tip of the week is believe you can do it. That's the number one tool you can use to drive success in your life. And if you're like, well, Laura's so scary and I don't have all the qualifications. I don't care. Try anyways. You can do it. You just need to believe and have some oomph, right? So that is my oomph tip of the week. And we're going to go to break. When we come back, you're going to meet, again, just two phenomenal women. Do not click anywhere. I know I always tell you to go to Facebook, to like my page. Do that later. Don't just stay. The break is short. You're going to hear about some wonderful people during the break, but you want to stay for this one. You don't want to miss a minute of it. All right, so Laura Klekar with You So Got This, and we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Jamie Bryant. I'm with Fit and Prosperous. I am a certified kettlebell instructor, and if you are looking to get your sexy back, I'm happy to help. I'm in the Rockwall area, and I can teach you how to start using that cannonball with the handle. My number is 419-348-3494, and you can also reach me through my blog. It's www.fitandprosperous.com.
Hi, the Kitchen Cafe is located 17370 Preston Road, Suite 415, a block north of McCallum, east side on Preston. We serve great food, Mediterranean tapas, pizza, salmon, pot roast, meatloaf, and a couple of desserts and a couple of great salads and soups. Every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday we have different kind of music, from jazz to cabaret. Please join us. The Kitchen Cafe.
Hello and welcome back to You So Got This with Laura Klekar, and it's time for our amazing guest. Yay! So it is my honor and my pleasure to introduce you to two amazing women. I have Lenita Dunlap and Alicia Morgan in the studio. Yay! So please take a moment to tell my listeners who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
Thank you, Laura, so much for this opportunity. I think that when I think about the work that we are embarking upon, it's people like you and it's organizations like this that encourage us and spur us on to continue to do the work that we do. So hi, everyone. My name is Lenita Dunlap, and I am the Executive Director of Heart House. Heart House is an amazing organization in the middle of Dallas in the Vickery Meadow community. We serve 120 kids from all around the world, 15 languages being spoken each and every day, kids from Burma, Iraq, Nepal, you name it, we have them. And what's amazing about the work that we do is that we are an equalizer. We try to get into the work. We love the messy stuff because kids are coming from all over with different educational backgrounds. And the reality of it is that when they're in the school systems, it's so hard because the schools will treat them the same as every other kid. But the reality of it is that these kids need individual attention to make it, that they need to have an opportunity, and that's what we do. Our mission is to provide safety, education, and opportunity to the children of the Vickery Meadow community.
Yay, thank you so much. And Alicia?
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Laura. It's funny that you mentioned about you can do anything that you want to do and you have the passion to do it, because I started off in engineering, actually. And a few years ago, I decided to switch careers. It was very ambitious. It was a new nonprofit sector. I hadn't been involved in it. I took some certification, but then I just went for the gusto and tried it out. And my engineering background actually does help. We, in partnership with Dallas After School, have been doing learning centers. And each day we focus on different areas. Like one day it's art. It gets the children visual and getting engaged with who they really are. And then we do reading because, we have K through 8th grade. The site that I am is K through 2nd grade. So by the time students are like in the 3rd grade, if that reading is not up to par, that can determine whether or not they graduate. So it's very important that we focus on that. And then there's Science and Technology Day. So they actually do science experiments, and just to see them engage and love it with it is so amazing. And then we focus on a major area that a lot of people don't always pay attention to, which is social and emotional learning. A lot of our students are refugee and immigrant children, so you don't know where they're coming from. So this safe environment tells them, like, okay, I can express my emotions, I can work through it, we can work in teams. And just recently, as you came in, we are doing a STEAM project, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And so those learning initiatives are coming all together, and they're designing their own restaurant. And just to see their passion and their love and get their hands in it and working with teams is amazing.
It is amazing. And thank you so much for both of your introductions. Those were phenomenal. And now you can see why I'm so excited, right? Well, first, Alicia and I sort of bonded over the fact that she went from engineering to nonprofit. I went from scientist to oomph. So we both have these sort of crazy transitions in our lives and sort of have these second lives really following our passions. But, and really where they're coming from with Heart House, I had an opportunity to visit and be part of this restaurant project. And these kids are amazing. I mean, I just spent a couple hours with them, and I fell in love with each and every one of them. You are doing an outstanding job with these kids. A lot of people would be like, you spend an afternoon with 30 kids in this apartment, and I'm like, it was the best couple hours I could have spent all year. So please tell me, how did all of this get started? I want to start from the beginning and give people a really good idea of how this movement started.
So over 15 years ago, our founders, Suzanne Kiefer and Anna Land, they were volunteering in the community and realized, wow, these kids, there's so many kids with nothing to do. So they started Heart House with this vision of being able to love on these kids. So they've been apartment-based from the beginning. They had this heart to serve this community, and they realized, wow, it's so much bigger than what you realize. And so they created this wonderful organization, and I am one of the executive directors, or the current ED of the organization, carrying on their legacy of being able to serve kids. And what's amazing about this particular community is that, again, it's around so much affluence. You have Highland Park right across 75, University Park, Park Cities, all those different areas, Lake Highlands, to the other end of it. And in the heart of it, you have these families being resettled in this community. And really, like when you think about all the diversity all throughout North Texas, a lot of that starts right here in Vickery Meadow. And so as people, transfer from different communities, or, become being able to work and find ways to, to get out of the community, Vickery Meadow is kind of the starting place for a lot of families. And so, again, we work closely with IRC, which is the International Rescue Committee, and they're the ones who kind of make sure that the families get, resettled and support them and get them here to the States. And just a bit of information, basically, we have about 8,000 refugees that come into the state of Texas every single year.
Wow.
Within the Vickery Meadow community, we're getting about 300 to 400 kids each school year. So imagine what's happening within that particular community. Schools are overwhelmed and things of that nature. And so when Heart House started, it was about being able to love on these families, be extra support, because a lot of families are having to work out in Denton and at a cell phone plant or a chicken factory, being able to do these different things. And so it's difficult. Sometimes it's difficult because they don't know the language and how to advocate for their children. And so Heart House does that. We advocate for their kids. We work on behalf of them. We support the families because they love their children. I mean, imagine traveling to another country to seek refuge. And not only that, but I mean, you also have extreme poverty in this area. So, I mean, it's so many different things, so much adversity. And in the midst of that, you're trying to get educated. And so Heart House basically, intervenes and intersects with this. And that's kind of how it started over 15 years ago. And we're continuing that tradition of being able to provide safety, education, and opportunity for these kids.
And you said something there about being an advocate for the children. And I will say what struck me really about my experience when I was at Heart House and really with Alicia and what she's doing with them is the amount of, so we have this restaurant project and these kids are making this restaurant and they're making this commercial. And Alicia has, and everyone involved in Heart House that I met that day has such a strong faith and belief in these children that I don't feel like they may not be getting elsewhere. And the way she put the expectations out in front of them and knew they could meet it and never doubted, and it was always like, we'll get she took these videos or the commercials and it got a little chaotic, but she stayed with it and she was patient. I think what struck me the most is that what I see from Heart House and from my experience with Alicia working with her is the amount of faith that you have in these children, and you're really giving them something that children really need, is knowing that somebody really believes in them and will set expectations for them and know that they can achieve it. So really going forward, Heart House, how important is it to you to really serve that environment for those children in that way?
Well, let me just say one thing, though, about Alicia. I met her a couple of years ago just through some mutual friends and contacts. And it's rare that you will find someone with her type of background that's willing to serve in this way. And I don't want to get emotional, but it's like when you work in nonprofits as long as I have, it's very difficult to find just people who are not only educated and trained, but really taking that passion and being able to serve kids. And so when I think about this project, she came to us and said, the other kids had Lemonade Day. I think for the K through second graders, we should try this STEAM project. And that's the type of culture that we have at Heart House. It's like, hey, bring that creativity, bring that love, bring your passion. And, Erica and myself said, hey, go for it. And sure enough.
Oh, she did.
Yeah. And so it was one of those things where it wasn't even planned initially, but her and her team leader, Mary Beth, just came up with this amazing idea. And I said, go for it. And so just to give you that backdrop, everyone, the culture that we're trying to create and that we have at Heart House is that we do believe in these kids. I mean, we had kids who are being bullied because their clothes may not be as clean, or their parents, don't come up to different events. And so we know what they're faced with. And yet, because of that, we do have this earnest. What you see is what you get. We do believe that these kids can achieve. We do believe. Oh,
you
that,
do. I was only there for an afternoon, but
and what we are. But I had to give that.
We have to give props to you, Alicia. So, what does that mean to you?
Well, one of the amazing things is we talk about our partnership with Dallas After School. So, this learning centers is very new. So, what we had the opportunity to do is to go into different schools and see someone do it well. So we could take notes. And so another thing is having a great team. My other program leader at my site has an art background. So since she has a strong art background and then my science and technology, it blends together well. And one of the things in the beginning, the kids were a lot resisting about it, but it became normal. Every day, different days, they know what's coming up. And then some days it's like, oh, I know what today is. It's science and math. Oh, it's art day. Can we switch? I want to do math today. So as we got them more engaged and involved, as you know, that's when they came on board, and then they just fell in love with it.
I love it. And it is different because, they come in and they have snacks and they do homework, and then they have this fun project to do. And I love how you're combining your engineering skills and strength and knowledge with someone who has the art background, and how I can't imagine that's so enriching for these children and to really have that experience. It's just phenomenal.
And what was really cool about it was, that's the culture of all of our staff. There's so many people on staff that have so many different passions and backgrounds, and they all come and share it. I have someone who understands video production or marketing, and so when you're a small staff, sometimes you don't necessarily have the bandwidth to hire all those expertise, but we don't lack for anything because the passion and the love and the resources are there. So we're able to really come together and use our pool of resources. So I have someone who has a master's in engineering, in science and technology, who's a program leader serving the kids. How cool is that?
That's super cool.
That's phenomenal. We're very, very blessed as an organization to have this type of talent. So I would like to pay them more, Lord knows. But at the end of the day, knowing that these people are here not because of the paycheck, but it's really because of the difference that they're making. They see that these kids have the potential to be the next leaders of this world.
You're really giving them so much in this, what could just be an after-school program, but you're like, no, it needs to be more. And these kids have so much to offer, and they will be the leaders of tomorrow. So I love how you're standing and creating that space for them to be those leaders and giving them that opportunity. It's just amazing. So, with this, I know with anything we try to do, and I know a lot of my listeners are thinking this, there's always challenges. It sounds great. You're doing phenomenal work in the community. I can't be more grateful as a citizen of Dallas that you're doing this, but I know it's not without a struggle. So share with me some of the challenges you're facing, especially for those who want to be you want to start their own nonprofits and be a part of the community. What does that look like to you? How do you overcome it?
Well, I'll say some of the major challenges is that the kids have, their educational backgrounds are so over the place. I can name 3 or 4 students who are functionally illiterate, just literally cannot read. You have a lot of students who are still acquiring the English language. You have students who don't necessarily have the parental support that's necessary. And again, we're working in a community where it's basically abject poverty. So you lack the resources, you have language barriers, and at the end of the day, just having those basic needs met with education all over the place. So as an organization, it's difficult for us at times to be able to map out exactly what to do. I think what we've done with the Learning Centers in partnership with Dallas After School is being able to say, how do we assess their emotional needs? How do we assess their math? How do we assess their reading? And through that, we create a tailored, individualized plan. So folks are always saying, hey, you serve only 120 kids. There's so many. But our goal is to go deep so we can actually affect families. And once you affect the family, then you're able to affect the community. So our strategy is focusing, one kid at a time, giving them what they need while we have them. Vickery Meadow is such a transient community. Sometimes you do have people who are leaving. That's always another challenge when you're trying to evaluate your work. So you may have, like in fall when we begin, we have good assessments. You want to assess at the end of the school year. Well, there's no guarantee that we are going to have the same pool of kids. And so our approach is not focusing on how to get the kid to a certain level, but it's bringing the stuff down to their levels and being able to say, okay, what do you need as a student? Okay, so,
I like that.
So
what do you need as a student?
That's where it is.
That's incredible.
Key.
That's key.
That's
and
key.
How many people are sitting down and really asking that of the kids they're working with? That right there.
Everyone focuses on numbers. Everyone focuses
on
numbers. And I know that my funding community can be like, but my thing is that we have to go deep. I have to be able to sleep at night knowing that what we're doing is making sense. I'm a mom of a 3-year-old, and so I've always said people that, hey, I went from 1 kid to 121 because I really want to figure out, like I do for my son, what does Luke need? What does Irene need? What does Yusuf need? What does Biak need? Like, and figure out what that looks like. And a lot of them are coming with deep emotional needs. I mean, can you imagine being in a refugee camp and fighting for your food? And so then you have kids who don't understand sharing. And I mean, like, I try to teach my 3-year-old how to share, and he's just basically a spoiled 3-year-old. But when you're thinking about kids who had to fight for their food or fight to figure out what that looks like, or having a parent who will come and see, you know, like, see about the male child, but won't come and see about the girl child. You know, the cultural different. I mean, so there's so many different things. And again, it's just so different for parents, some of the parents, to come and talk to an educator, because that's not what you do. Like, educators are seeing, like, hey, they're the experts and you don't disagree with them. Well, in America, we know you come after our child, or if something's wrong, parents are knocking at the door, meeting. So that's what we do at Heart House, is we deal with the messy. We get in, we love on these kids, we get to know their names, their families. I mean, I have program leaders and volunteers who live right in the community that have spent time with the families. And so even though there's challenges with being a transient community, with educational backgrounds being all over the place, at the end of the day, we know that in order to do this work, you have to be able to roll up your sleeves and get messy. I mean, that's the only way to get it done.
Let me ask you this then, because that's a great point, and you're so involved. And I love nonprofits where there's a high level of tactile involvement with what you're doing. It's not I mean, funding is vital. I'm not going to take away from that, but it's more than just funding and just putting money at something, but you're really getting down in the nitty-gritty with them. So I know there's a lot of people, and I ask Alicia this question when I visit our house: what do you need from us? Because we want, as a Dallas community, we want to support you, and I'm going to encourage all my listeners to look into this organization and to support them whatever way you can. But what is it you need? Donations, money, volunteers? Let us know. So how can we support you?
Was a combination of things. So next week on the night, we're having our annual luncheon. It's the 10th annual luncheon. And so we're looking for partners and sponsors. So that's one way to do so. And our website is hearthousedallas.org. And we're also looking for different partners in the community that can give us supplies that we need. They always need supplies for the students, after school, pencils, crayons, art supplies, etc. And also, just if you want to volunteer and come in, we have our program manager that you can fill out a form on our website as well. And I wanted to piggyback off of what Lenita was talking about. What are the challenges? So I learned, and it's just an observation, is a lot of these students are from Dallas ISD. And so we always think that a student's challenges are academically, solely academic. But I've learned socially and emotionally that as we work in teams, today, I don't like this student.
Yes.
So how do we get past that?
I saw a little bit of that.
How do I get through that? You know, we're in a team. We still have to get the job done. Or we had one day where one team won, and then the other student was crying because they didn't get the prize. Now, naturally, just safety, I want to reach out and just give them. I was like, but no, then I'm doing more harm than good by telling them that you're going to always win. So he was crying. He managed his emotions and got through it. But then the next day he was like, okay, we have to work harder. So it's just, you have to initiate. Like, sometimes there's a consequence of your action. Sometimes you're going to win. Sometimes you're going to lose. Sometimes you're going to work with somebody you don't like. It's just working through that. And if you think about it, how many of us would have benefit from having that when we were children? Because if you work in work environments as adults, you see some of the same things going on.
You do.
And you're like, wait a minute, how old are we?
Play well in the sand.
Yeah, Alicia and I swapped some corporate stories when we had dinner about a month ago, and we have some stories like that, yes.
And being in a nonprofit community for over 15 years, I can tell you the stories are the same. I mean, you do have people who just don't play fair at times, even though I love the work that we do. But yeah, just playing well in the sandbox it's kind of that basic rule, and oftentimes people don't get it. Yeah, financially, I mean, for the most part, you know, these kids get to go for free. We don't ask them for a dime. And so in order to keep an organization like this going, I mean, our budget is about a little bit over $400,000. So in order to keep it going, we do write grants, but honestly, it's the heart of the people. So if we were to get people to say, hey, I would love to be able to give monthly gifts, that would be To me, that's an investment. That's a partnership. And also volunteer groups. We had an amazing group, Girl Scouts, that came out.
That is a fantastic idea.
Yeah, Troop
I love
3701.
that.
I'm giving a shout out to them, but they were just amazing.
What a great way to pull that together.
Yeah.
I'm interrupting you, but
No
that just got me
problem.
really excited.
No problem. I mean, so we will, volunteer with your kids so they can see the other side.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's
I
so
love
cool.
that. So I put my heart out to you, to everyone who's listening. I've been to Heart House. I wish I could have stayed longer, but what Alicia's doing with these kids, I've seen it firsthand. She's with them. They are hands-on. The kids are amazing. And just what they're just doing as an organization, and what they live it. They are it. This is not any sort of fluff. They believe in these kids. They love these kids. They're supporting these kids, and they know the potential of these kids, and they know the potential of their community, and they're really in there with it. So whether you come to the June 9th event next Tuesday, which I really implore that you do, it's Thursday. So this Tuesday coming up, you still have time to get online and look at the event and go and attend the luncheon. Please go to hearthouse.org, hearthousedallas.org, and look at how you can support them. So, for the two of you, I'll let you wrap it up. So tell the listeners how they can support you and how they can connect with you.
So the best way is probably through our website, which is www.hearthousedallas.org. That's HEARTHOUSE Dallas DALLAS.org. That's probably the best way. Our phone number is 214-750-7637. Again, my name is Lenita Dunlap. You can ask for me. Erica Johnson, she's also the program manager. We're pretty much always there, or Melissa Ortiz. But again, the website is probably the easier way to get to us.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you visit the website, if you want to learn more about the luncheon, click on the tab that says 10th Annual Heart of a Champion Luncheon, as well as look in our work, and you can find more pictures of our partnerships and what we do. And thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And go to the go to the Facebook page, You So Got This, and we're going to post links on there for y'all to just click on, get this information. I highly encourage you to check them out. I cannot emphasize it enough how much I love what they're doing, and I know that they need our support, Dallas. We need to rally behind them. You can always contact me for more information, Laura at empowereveryday.com. If you're interested in more oomph, go to empowereveryday.com. You can always call me in my office, 214-966-0715. So this is Laura Klekar saying, You So Got This.